Now we'll be doing question 12. Question 12 says that question 12 says if 2 over 5 of the students of a class are absent and there are 18 present pupils. So fraction of absent is 2 over 5. So therefore 3 over 5 are present because 2 out of 5 are absent, then that means 3 out of 5 are present. Now they said we don't know the number of pupils that are absent, but we were told that 18 pupils are present. So meaning that 3 over 5 of the total population of the class is equal to 18. So if 3 over 5 of the total population of the class is 18, what's the total population? So to do that, you multiply 18 by the reciprocal of this. The reciprocal of this, you use it to multiply 18. So it becomes 18 times 5 over 3. That's the reciprocal of 3 over 5. So if 3 over 5 of total population is 18, then that means total population will be equal to 18 times 5 over 3. So that will give you what? 18 times 5 over 3. The total population of the class is what? Is 18 divided by 3. That's 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So there are 30 students in the class. So there are 30 students in the class. So it is as simple as that. If 2 over 5 are absent, that means the fraction that are present is 3 over 5. And if 18 are present, then 3 over 5 of total population is that 18. And then you multiply 18 by the reciprocal of 3 over 5 to give you 30 students. To give you 30 students. Then to question 13. Question 13 says that if you look at question 13 properly, you will see something. They said Tayo did something, that is, Tayo enters a number into a calculator. Let's say the number is box. She enters a number into a calculator and she adds 12.7. Then she multiplies her answer by 3. And the result is 62.4. So I read again. Tayo enters a number into a calculator. She adds 12.7 and multiplies the answer by 3. The calculator now shows 62.4. What was the number that Tayo keyed in originally? Now, Tayo keyed in a number. Let's say the number is, let the number be x. Let the number be x. So Tayo entered x. He added 12.7. He multiplied the result by 3 and got 62.4. So in this case, all you need to do is to do your reverse process. That is, if to get the value of your x, remove the farthest enemy to this x, because what we want to get is x. So the first thing is that remember when a number is connected to a variable by multiplication, you can remove it by division. If it is connected by addition, you can remove it by subtraction and vice versa. That is, if it is connected by subtraction, you remove it by addition. If it is connected by addition, you remove it by subtraction. And if it is connected by multiplication, you remove it by division. So what do you need to do now? You do x plus 12.7 is equal to 62.4 divided by 3. Now 62.4 divided by 3 is what? So you have x plus 12.7 equals to 62 divided by 62.4 divided by 3 will give you what? Will give you 10.8. Will give you 10.8. That is 62.4 divided by 3 will give you 10.8. Then I told you that when a number is connected to a variable by addition, you remove it by subtraction. So your x will now be what? 10.8 minus 12.7, because your addition here is crossing the bridge, so it becomes negative. If it was negative and it crosses the bridge, it becomes positive. But now it is negative and it is crossing the bridge, so it becomes It's because it was positive, now it crosses to become negative. So x will be equal to what? Oh no, I mean to say 20.8, please. This is 20.8 because 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is not possible. You write 0 point, then 24 divided by 3 is 8. So 20.8 20.8 minus 12.7, that will give you 8.1. Remember, when you are solving questions like this, you align your decimal, so you can just say 20.8 minus 12.7. When you subtract them, 8 minus 7 is 1 decimal point. 2, take 1 here, this becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. So the answer is 8.1. So the answer, the value, the number that Tayo entered earlier was actually 8.1. So the number is 8.1. That was the number that Tayo keyed in the first place. Now this next question says that question 14 now. Question 14 now says question 14 says that the base of a large tank measures 3 meters by 2.5 meters. So the base, let's say the tank is like this. Let's say this is the tank. Yeah, let's say this is the tank. So this will surely be the base. This is the tank itself. Let's say this is the base. So this that I sectioned is the base. So if this is the base, the one that I netted, the one with net match, like nulling, this base, if this is the base, now they say this base is given a dimension of 3 meters by what? 3 meters by 2.5 meters. If the base is 3 meters by 2.5 meters, now you are told that if water is poured into the tank, to a depth of 1.7. So let's say to the depth of 1.7 meters. So this is the depth of water in the tank. You see it. So water is poured into the tank to a depth of 1.7. Let me use a red color. So water is poured into the tank up to a depth of 1.7. Now you can see it. Up to a depth of 1.7, water is poured. They say what is the volume of water in the tank? The volume of water in the tank will be given by the base area, which is 3 multiplied by 2.5, that's the base area, then multiply by the height. So the volume is given by what? Volume is given by base area multiplied by height. That is the volume. And so we know that base area is 3 by 2.5 and the height is now 1.7. So 3 times 2.5 times 1.7 will give you what? 3 times 2.5 will give you 7.5. And 7.5 times 1.7 will give you what? 7.5 times 1.7 will give you a value. And the value is, let's just do the multiplication. You can do the multiplication on your own. Just do it in your book. But 7.5 multiplied by 1.7 will give you 12.75. So your volume is 12.75 meter cube. So that's the answer for question 14. Then question 15 says that in a test, question 15 says in a test, Cynthia scored 28 marks. So Cynthia scored 28 marks out of what? If the total possible mark is 35, what percentage of the score did Cynthia get? So Cynthia got 28 and the total mark is 35. So meaning that Cynthia had 28 out of 35. 28 out of 35. Now converting it to percentage means multiplying by 100. Now let's divide. 28 divided by 35, that's 28 out of 35, multiplied by 100. 7, what can divide the two is 7, because 28 and 35 are both multiples of 7. So 28 divided by 7 will give you 4, and 35 divided by 7 will give you 5. So we can still divide further. So we have 4 over 5 times 100, which will give you 5 divided by 5, 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So that will give you 80%. So Cynthia had 80%. Cynthia had 80%. Now let's go to question 16. Question 16. Question 16 is quite simple. All you just need to do is this. So question 16 says that the average height of 5 players in a basketball team is 1.82. So when it was 5 players, average was 1.82 meters. But now that the mean height of these players and the first reserve, that is the person that is on the bench waiting for opportunity to come into the court. So we already had 5 players already. The average height is 1.82. Now another person was added, which was a reserve man, and that makes them 6 players now. For 6 players, the average became what? The average became or reduced to 1.79 meters. Now they say what is the height of the reserve? So what we need to do is to find the sum of height for the two of them. Sum of height for the two groups. Remember the formula for average. Average is what? Sum of height, that is sum over number. So sum of height over number of heights. So if the sum of height over number of heights gives you your average, how then can we find our sum of height? So that means sum of height will be equal to average multiplied by number of heights. So what is, if sum of height can be gotten by average times number of heights. So now let's get sum of height for when there are 5 players. That will be 1.82 multiplied by 5 to give us our answer, and sum for when there are 6 players, it will be 1.79 times 6. Now quickly do your calculation. What is 1.82 multiplied by 5? That will give you 9.1. So if that is 9.1, then you check for the other one. So this gives you 9.1, and 1.79 times 6, you can do that. That gives you 10.74. 10.74. Now now that you know that the sum of height for when there were 5 players was 9.1, and sum of height for when there are 6 players is 10.74. So that means height of the reserve is what? 10.74 take away from the 9.1. I told you, let your decimal point align, then annex your 0 to balance what you're doing. Annex your 0. So 4 minus 0 is 4, 7 minus 1 is 6, 10 minus 9 is 1. So the height of the reserve is 10.64 meters. That's the height of the reserve, 10.64 meters. Now, we need to go to the next question now. Height of reserve is 10.64 meters. Now, let's go to the next question. Next question is quite simple. Next question is question 17. Question 17 says that Paul's salary of 12,000 naira. So Paul's salary was actually 12,000 naira, and it was increased by 6%. What was his salary after the increment? So question 17, Paul's salary was, so salary of Paul was 12,000 naira. Now it was increased by 6%. Now let's just use two methods. 6% of 12,000 naira is what? 6% of 12,000 naira, 10 year, 10 year, 10 year, 10 year. So 6 times 120 will give you 720. So 6% of 12,000 naira is 720 naira. So add it to 12,000 naira. So new salary will be 12,000 plus 720, which is 12,720 naira. That is his new salary. In other words, that is the new salary, or you can use addition of percentage method. So when he was taking 12,000 naira, that is 100%. So you have to add 100% to 6%. That will give you 106%. So what is 106% of 12,000? So 106% of 12,000 will still give you 12,720 naira. So you can use the two methods. Either you find 6% of 12,000, you add it, or you find 106%, and that gives you the same answer. Now let's go to 17b. 17b says I bought a house. 17b says I bought a house for 80,000 naira and sold it for 92,000 naira. What percentage profit did I make? I bought a house, so cost price of the house is 80,000 naira, and selling price of the same house is 92,000 naira. What percentage profit? So that means profit on the house is selling price minus cost price, which is 92,000 minus 80,000. So the profit is 12,000. So if the profit is 12,000, what then is the percentage profit? Percentage profit is profit over cost price multiplied by 100. So which is in this case now it is 12,000 over 80,000 multiplied by 100. So 1,000 cancel 1,000. So divide by 1,000 here, divide by 1,000 here. Now this is 80 over 100. 20 divided by 80, 80 divided by 20 is 4, and 100 divided by 20 is 5. So we can still divide further, but let's write out our value, our numbers. So we have 12 times 5 divided by 4. So what is 12 times 5 divided by 4? 4 here 1, 4 here 3. So it is 3 times 5. So our percentage profit is 15%. So the percentage profit is 15%. That's the answer for question 17B. Now let's go to question 18. Question 18 says that there are two pieces of wood. Question 18 says there are two pieces of wood. One is, so two pieces of wood. First wood is what? First wood is 800 millimeters long, and the other wood is 600 millimeters long, and the second wood is 600 millimeters long. Now they said the two pieces are to be cut into a total of 6 smaller pieces. They are to be cut into 6 smaller pieces. The new pieces are to have length 350 millimeters, 290 millimeters, 260 millimeters, 190 millimeters, 170 millimeters, and 140 millimeters. So how would you cut the pieces? That is, you have two woods, 800 and 600. How would you cut the pieces such that you have 350, 290, 260, 190, 170, and 140 millimeters? So in other words, it means that what three combination, or which three combinations will give you 800, and which three other combination will give you 600? So look closely into the question. Look closely into the question. So which one will give you 400, and which one 800, and which one will give you 600? Now if you look at this question properly, now if you look at the questions closely, you will discover something. Now let me change the color so that you can see properly. So you will discover that if you add this, and this, so 190, 260, and 350, if you add them together, they should give you 800. They should give you 800. So this plus this plus this, they should give you 800. While let me use another color here. While this 290, 170, and 140, if you add them together, this plus this, they should give you 600. So that is how you will share it. So you say that you see now that the first wood, so you say the first wood will be divided into 350 millimeters, 260 millimeters, and 190 millimeters to give 800 millimeters. And the second wood will be divided into 290 millimeters, 170 millimeters, and 140 millimeters. So this division will give you the exact this combinations will give you 600 millimeters, and that gives you the correct way to divide the wood to get those divisions. Now question 19. Question 19 says that in a class, 3 over 5 of the pupils were girls, 1 of the 1 over 5 of the boys in the class were absent. Now 2 over 15 of the whole class were absent. There were 9 boys present. How many boys are in the class? Now let's take it one after the other. In the class, 3 over 5 of the pupils were girls. So in the whole class, 3 over 5 were girls, meaning that 2 over 5 will be boys. Settled. Now they said 1 over 4 of the boys in the class were absent. So they said 1 over 4 of 2 over 5 boys were what? Were absent. So 1 over 4 of the boys, that is 1 over 4 of 2 over 5 of the boys were absent. So what is 1 over 4 of 2 over 5? 1 over 4 of 2 over 5, when you are multiplying fractions, there's something I do. I say tit for tit and tat for tat. That is numerator multiplies numerator, denominator multiplies denominator. So that gives you 2 over 20, which is 1 over 10. So 1 over 10 boys were absent. Now they said 2 over 15 of the whole class were absent, and there were 9 boys present. So how many boys are in the class? So now listen, see this. They said 1 over 4 of the boys were absent. So if 1 over 4 of the boys were absent, it means that 3 over 4 of the boys, which is 2 over 5, were present. So what is 3 over 4 of 2 over 5? That is 6 over 20, which is also same thing as 3 over 10, were present. So meaning that 3 over 10% of the whole class were present, and they are boys. You see that? So we take it step by step. 3 over 5 were girls, 2 over 5 were boys, 1 over 4 of the boys were absent. That means 3 over 4 of the boys were present. And what do we need to know again? I haven't known this. Let me demarcate it to avoid mistakes. So if 6 over 20 of the boy or of the whole class were present, which are boys. Now they said there were 9 boys present. How many boys are in the class? So in other words, what they are saying is that 9 boys were present, meaning that out of total number of boys, 3 over 4 of boys were present, and those that were present are just 9. So if 3 over 4 of the total number of boys is 9, that means, remember I said when you have something like this, what do? You multiply by what? By the reciprocal of this. So that will be what? So that means number of boys will be 9 times 4 over 3, because 3 over 4 of boys were present and there were 9. So that means you just multiply by the reciprocal of 3 over 4, which is what? 9 times 4 over 3 will give you 12. So that means there are 12 boys in total. There are 12 boys in total. So number of boys is 12. So there are 12 boys in the class. So write that there are 12 boys in the class. there are 12 boys in the class. Okay, I haven't known that number of, they said how many girls are in the class. So if we already said, it was said that 3 over 5 were girls, and so therefore 2 over 5 were boys. So that means if 2 over 5 of the total population of the class is boys, and boys are just 12, what's total population? Just the same method, multiplied by the reciprocal of 2 over 5. What's the reciprocal of 2 over 5? Is 5 over 2. So that is total population of the class. Total population of the class is 12 times 5 over 2, which is 30 students. So if there are 30 students and 12 are boys, so how many are girls? So girls will be total population minus boys. And total population is 30. That will be 30 minus 12, which is 18. So that means there are 18 girls. So let's write it in a sentence. There are 18 girls. Now, how many girls in the class? In the class. Now they said, how many girls were present? How many girls were present? We already told that 2 over 15 of the whole class were absent. So if 2 over 15 of the whole class were absent, that means 2, if 2 over 15, now let me write it out. So 2 over 15 of total population were absent, right? 2 over 15 of total population were absent. It was stated in the question. So what is 2 over 15? That is 2 over 15 of 30 over 1 were absent. And that will give us what? That will give us 4. Only 4 students. Because 2 times 30 is 60. 60 divided by 15 is 4. So only 4 students were absent. So if only 4 students were absent, and we already stated earlier that there are 12 boys and 9 boys were present. So if there are 12 boys and 9 boys were present, that means total boys is 12, present boys is 9, so therefore absent boys will be 3, and total absent is 4. So that means absent girls will be 4 minus 3. So there's only one girl that did not come to school. And if absent girls is 1 and total girls, that is total number of girls, is 18. Total number of girls is 18. So that means that means the total number of present girls that are present will be 18 minus 1, which is 17. So there are 17 girls that are in school that day. So I believe you understand it properly. If you don't seem to get it, you can watch the video again so you understand properly. Now let's go to question 20. Question 20. So question 20. Question 20 says that the 13 girls in a class, that means that class has 13 girls in it. So we have 13 girls in a class. Out of that 20, they said the 13 girls in a class got an average mark of 70 in a test. The 7 boys in the same class got an average of 60 in the same test. What is the average mark for the whole class? Now, there are 13 girls. 13 girls got average of 13 girls got average of 70, and 7 boys got an average of what? Average of 60. So in order to find the total average, all you need to do is to do what? Remember, as I stated earlier, average is equal to sum over number, that is sum of scores over number of scores. So to get the sum of scores now, to get our sum of scores, so that means sum of scores will be equal to average times number of scores or number of students. So let's do sum of scores for 7 boys. It will be 7, which is number of boys, times the average, which is 60. So sum for boys will be 420. And sum, this is sum for 7 boys, and then sum for 13 girls will be 13. Alright, so as I was saying, so we have 13 girls in the class. 13 girls, and the average was 70. So that is 13 times 70. So 13 times 70 will give us, what is 13 times 7? 13 times 7 is 91. That is 910. So total sum of scores for girls is 910, and total sum of scores for boy is 420. So you can just do well to add them together. Total sum of scores, this is 0 plus 0 is 0, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 4 plus 3 is 13. So total sum of score is 13, and total population, total number of students, total number of students is 13 plus 7, which is 20. So now that I have known total score and total number of students, so total average now, total average of the whole class will be total score over total number of students, which is 1330 all over 20. What is 1330 over 20? So you can do the division yourself, maybe in your book, but that will give you what? That will give you 66.5. So that is 66 and half. That's 66.5. So that is the total number of, that is the average, total average of the whole class. So average of class is 66.5. That's the average score. Average score of the class, that is 66.5.